Life doesn't always reward the loudest voice, it rewards the strongest foundation. And a woman becomes unstoppable the moment she learns that power is not only in what she shows, but in what she protects. There are parts of her spirit, her dreams, and her strength that must remain guarded, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Today, we rise into the truth that not everything deserves to be shared, and some things must stay sacred. Your true vision is the most powerful personal treasure you carry within you, and it must be protected with intention and discipline. There is something sacred about a woman who knows where she's going, even when the world doesn't understand her direction. Vision is not something you announce, it's something you build. It's not something you shout from rooftops. It's something you nurture in silence. When you keep your vision guarded, you allow it to grow without the interference of doubt, negativity, or people who simply can't see what you see. Not everyone will understand your dream because it was never planted in their heart. It was planted in yours. And that alone is enough reason to hold it close until it is strong enough to stand on its own. Every woman has experienced the moment when she shared a dream too early and someone's reaction clipped its wings. A raised eyebrow, a careless word, a silent judgment. It's all it takes to make a fragile idea shrink. That is why the early stage of a vision is the most vulnerable. It's like a seed that hasn't broken the soil yet. One wrong step, one harsh comment, one discouraging voice can crush it before it ever has the chance to grow. When you protect your vision, you create a sacred space where it can breathe, evolve, and become something powerful. You give yourself the freedom to experiment, to explore, to fail and adjust without feeling watched or judged. There is also strength in moving quietly because silence removes distraction. When you're not explaining yourself to others, you have more energy to pour into execution. When you stop waiting for approval, you stop delaying your progress. The world teaches women to seek validation, to make sure everyone is comfortable with their choices, dreams, and ambitions. But the truth is, greatness never comes from asking for permission. It comes from a deep inner knowing that whispers, "This is yours. Do not let it go." And that whisper becomes the force that pulls you forward, even when the path is uncertain. A protected vision allows you to stay focused on what matters. You stop comparing your journey to others because you're building something unique. You stop feeling behind because your timeline becomes personal. You stop fearing judgment because no one knows what you're working on anyway. This quiet commitment to your dream becomes your strength, and your consistency becomes your momentum. Every small step taken in silence becomes a brick in the foundation of a future no one sees coming. Women who protect their visions are dangerous in the most powerful way. They don't talk about their moves, they make them. They don't announce their plans, they execute them. They don't ask for validation, they validate themselves. By the time the world realizes what they've built, it's too late for doubt, too late for interference, too late for criticism. Because the dream has already become reality. That is the beauty of guarded ambition. Your vision is not a public conversation, it is a private contract between you and your purpose. It deserves silence. It deserves protection. It deserves to grow without being measured by the limited imagination of others. The more you honor your vision with privacy, the more powerfully it will unfold. And when the time is right, your results will speak louder than any explanation ever could. This is how a woman rises, with quiet determination, unwavering belief, and the courage to keep her dreams sacred until they are ready to shine. Every woman carries an emotional world within her that is deeper, more complex, and more powerful than most people will ever understand. But not every emotion, wound, or vulnerability deserves an audience. There is strength in knowing when to share and when to stay quiet, when to open your heart and when to protect it. Your emotional battles are not a spectacle, and they are not for public consumption. They are part of your personal journey, raw, delicate, and meaningful in ways that only you can fully comprehend. When you choose to safeguard your inner world, you regain a sense of control that life may have tried to take from you. There are moments when you feel overwhelmed, moments when the pressure breaks you down, moments when the pain becomes louder than your thoughts. And in those moments, the temptation is to pour your heart out to anyone willing to listen. But not everyone listens with compassion. Some listen with curiosity, some with judgment, and some with the wrong intentions. Sharing your struggles with the wrong people can deepen your wounds instead of healing them. It can make you question your worth, your strength, and your direction. That is why protecting your emotional battles becomes essential. It is not about hiding weakness. It is about choosing who deserves the honor of your truth. Healing requires safety. Your mind needs space, your heart needs gentleness, and your spirit needs peace. When you share your pain with too many people, you invite unnecessary voices into a process that was meant to unfold privately. Opinions, assumptions, and unsolicited advice can cloud your clarity and slow your healing. But when you choose silence, not out of fear but out of wisdom, you maintain the purity of your emotional process. You give yourself the chance to feel without defending, hurt without explaining, recover without being watched. That kind of privacy accelerates growth. It turns breakdowns into breakthroughs and pain into power. Every woman has been betrayed at least once by someone she trusted with her vulnerabilities. A friend, a partner, a colleague, someone who took her honest moments and used them as weapons or gossip. Experiences like these teach you that your emotional world is not something to hand out like an open diary. It is a sacred journal, written in ink that no one else has earned the right to read. You learn to become selective, intentional, and protective. You learn that your silence is not a cage but a shield, a way to keep your heart safe while you gather strength. The power of guarding your emotional battles is that it shapes you into someone who no longer crumbles under pressure. You become grounded, steady, and emotionally self-reliant. You learn to comfort yourself, guide yourself, and rebuild yourself without reaching for the nearest listener. And as you strengthen your internal foundation, something remarkable happens. You become harder to shake, harder to manipulate, harder to break. People sense your power without knowing your pain. They feel your strength without witnessing your tears. A woman who protects her emotional world is unbreakable in ways others can't understand. She learns that not every scar needs to be shown, not every fear needs to be spoken, not every tear needs an audience. She trusts the process of quiet healing, private reflection, and personal transformation. Her strength grows in silence, her resilience forms in the dark, and her confidence rises from battles no one else even knows she fought. And that is what makes her extraordinary, her ability to carry storms within her while presenting calm to the world. She is not hiding, she is choosing. She is not weak, she is wise. And she is becoming stronger every day because she owns her emotional world with grace and power. Your next move is the most powerful thing you own, and it becomes even more powerful the moment you decide to protect it. Too many women speak their plans out loud before they're ready, not realizing that every announcement invites opinions, doubts, and energies that don't belong in their path. Silence is strategy. Mystery is leverage. When people can't predict you, they can't limit you. When they don't know what you're building, they can't interfere, discourage, or sabotage. Your next move should be a quiet promise you make to yourself. One that grows stronger because it is nourished without interruption. There is a certain kind of power in a woman who moves with intention instead of explanation. She doesn't waste time convincing people of her direction or proving why she's making a change. She simply takes the steps she needs to take, one after another, until the transformation becomes undeniable. The world underestimates women who operate in silence because they can't measure or anticipate their progress. And that is exactly why silence is your advantage. The less people know, the more they will feel the impact when you finally reveal the results. Life becomes lighter when you stop broadcasting your plans. You remove the pressure of eyes watching your every step. You eliminate the need to perform or justify your decisions. You give yourself space to pivot, experiment, or adjust without people questioning your choices. Silence allows you to grow without an audience. It gives you room to fail privately, learn quickly, and rise stronger. Every major transformation requires privacy. Caterpillars don't transform in public view, they do their most important work in darkness. And so do you. There is also protection in keeping your next move hidden. Not everyone around you wishes you well, even if they smile in your face. Some are threatened by your potential. Others are intimidated by your ambition. And a few are secretly hoping you fail so they feel better about standing still. When you share your moves with people like this, you give them opportunities to plant seeds of doubt, jealousy, or sabotage. But when you guard your path, you deny them access to your elevation, you become unpredictable, something that can't be controlled, manipulated, or slowed down. A woman who protects her next move also protects her peace. She learns that she doesn't owe anyone an explanation for her progress, her choices, or her timing. She understands that her life is not a public project. She realizes that the most powerful breakthroughs happen when she stops announcing and starts doing. And when she finally arrives at her next chapter, it speaks louder than any explanation ever could. People won't remember what you said you would do. They will remember what you actually did. Guarding your next move teaches you discipline, patience, and self-trust. You start relying less on external validation and more on your own inner compass. You become confident in your ability to execute without applause. You learn to celebrate your small wins privately, knowing that they are the building blocks of something bigger. The silence becomes your sanctuary, your strategy, and your source of strength. When a woman stops telling the world what she's planning and starts showing what she's achieving, she becomes a force no one can predict and no one can stop. Her results arrive with the shock of a storm, sudden, powerful, undeniable. That is the power of protecting your next move. It's not secrecy, it's sovereignty. It's not hiding, it's rising. It's not fear, it's wisdom. And when you master that wisdom, you step into a level of power that belongs only to women who understand the value of their silence.